All right, all right, all right. Yes, yes, yes. Your favorite day of the week and the best place to be in the counselor's corner for another open court discussion. I am your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the controversial counselor. Joining me is my co-host, Herb Lewis, the big bad wolf.
Oh,
And once again, a showtime decision for the remainder of the panel. Recap from this past Monday's broadcast. Holiday holiday blues or not. We discussed different things you can do if you don't have children or limited family during the holiday season. Please go back and rewatch the replay if that subject matter interests you. Okay, moving on, moving right along. Let's focus on tonight, December 12th, broadcast non disclosure for non exclusive relationships. What does that really mean? If we are not in a committed relationship, I share what I want to share with you. There are times or things that people may dispute this notion, such as things you post on social media. They may have questions about it. Things shared to another individual about you. Info already known about you. Info from the past, present, or future. Could be info related to court, government body, or law enforcement. So that was just a quick appetizer. Some of the things people may say, okay, you need to disclose this information, even during the dating process. All right, so that was segment one. Segment two, since the pandemic, name some things you now realize, such as during this time, we all know life is unpredictable. I mean, not that it wasn't before, but now it's a more watchful eye on it because people could be here and could be gone tomorrow and or would end up with COVID and you find out that they passed away and you're like, wow, like damn. And again, life is too short to worry about small stuff. So some of the things that you would trip about before, ain't nobody got time for that crap now. So you start realizing that, like, you're not about to talk me to death, save your attitude, or whatever the case is, because life is simply too short. It always was, but now again, that watchful eye. Also, pursue your passion and start stop worrying about what others think about you. If it's something you're passionate, now is the time. We've been talking about that. It's now or never. Uh, Quit sitting around at the bar stool talking about what you want to do or what you should have been doing, but you're still capable of doing it. The time is now. So you need to recognize and realize that. So there you have it. We are set up for a heartfelt, transparent conversation. Please like and share our video and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. So we here Monday night. What's going on with you, Big Bad Wolf?
man, just taking it all in, man. Another year under the belt, trying to plot my next move. I'm always looking for the financial situation for next year, trying to hit some markers. I never really succeed, but that don't mean I'm gonna stop trying. So that's about it, man. Ain't much change, steady Eddie.
So, oh man, because you get off Facebook or whatever. So when was your birthday?
Saturday.
Man, my bad. Happy
That's all right,
belated,
man.
man. Happy belated, man.
Thank you very much. 51, like I said, man, taking it all in. Usually I would hit up Toronto, but I've been a little bit extra, how can I say, fiduciary irresponsible this year with some excursions, so I had to dial back a little bit. But I have fun though, man. Hitting up these baseball games, doing some traveling, man. So it's been good, man. I got no complaints, man. It's money. You make it to spend it. At least I do.
I hear that. Well, I was man down this week pretty much. End up getting the cold. Well, the crazy thing is, and that's why I had made posts. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. Your body never lies to you. Uh, that's one entity or whatever that is going to be truthful.
Hmm.
So I think I woke up. I don't know. I think it was Saturday or Sunday, and I had like spasms in my leg. Like, what the hell? And I know and I understand that shit, sometimes you get older, you just wake up with injuries, and, cramps. You just wake up with injuries. So and I'm like, man, this don't feel right. Then I'm feeling the area with a pain, and it's like warm, like hot, like, and then it was discolored like red. Now I'm like, okay, so I find out that it could be a potential blood clot. So now
Mm.
I'm tripping because I'm like, okay, a blood clot go to your lungs, it should then to your heart. That's not
That's
good.
it. Yeah.
So when I went to physical therapy, they're like, damn, you sound like you broken down. But that's like back, shoulder, just little minor stuff. That as you get older, it happens. So she does a little check on and like measure everything, like it doesn't really seem like it's a blood clot based on my testing, but you need to call your doctor to just find, to rule it out for sure. So Tuesday start, getting congested, sick, and I'm like, man. So I'll end up leaving work early, go to the doctor. We go over it. He looks at it. He's like, but based on what he said, he doesn't think it's a blood clot, but he wanted to get a scan, so he wanted me to get in there to make sure. Finally, after a couple hours, I'm sitting around. The lab had closed, but the guy, the vascular doctor, kind of honored my doctor's request, saw me, and then did the scan and said it was no traces of anything. So it's good. He said it could be like a strain or something to put like icy hot or blue emu or whatever the crap is on there, and haven't felt anything. It's been good, cool since.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I'm saying all this story. I'm saying this story to be saying, even through the pandemic, people been croaking, and you have to, you especially as guys. Sometimes you're like, it's just a little pain. I'll be all right. I'll be all right. And you ignore stuff like that, and then shit. I think I did that for No Friday Foolishness. Like, listen to your body. It'll whisper to you, give you like warning signs,
Yeah.
but then it's gonna start screaming at you like,
Yeah.
shit, get help. And I never want stuff to get to that point. So I usually, sometimes I'm stubborn about stuff, but when you start saying like critical stuff like blood clots and stuff like that, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna do what I got to do, because I'm not trying to be that one that they were like, man, man, that controversial counselor guy that be on there with the big bad wolf, them two dudes who be talking all this shit on there, he passed away. Nah, nah, I can't
Yeah,
go
man,
out
it's
like
real.
that. So
It's
that's
real.
been that. So cold. I'm still, it's toward the latter end, but I went back to work today, so it's just going through the motions. But I'm almost back. So that was that. J Rob was good, brother. So that's pretty much it. And we not gonna belabor the point. We're gonna get into this conversation. And Herb, you chose this topic: non-disclosure for non-exclusive relationships. What does that really mean to people? Because I know the ladies like, what are they talking about?
Well, I can't accept credit for this. There's an extremely smart, intellectual woman on my Facebook friends list, and her name is Star. Let me make sure I get her name correct. It is Star Fam Sober, and she posted about Steve Harvey's daughter getting the men that she is dating, not exclusive with, to sign NDAs. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with NDAs, it's a non-disclosure agreement. that whatever they do,
Oh, I'm gonna start doing that.
hey,
Oh,
what's going on,
God,
Chauncey?
going on?
That whatever
Hey.
they do is not to be posted to social media, is not to be spoken about to anybody. Let me thank the other people that have joined on the Facebook side. Bender, Rodriguez, thank you, Santina Spencer, and Perfect. Thank you all for joining us. So I thought it was interesting because you guys know me. I always tell guys, look, if you want more, say less. And it flies in the face of traditional, I don't want to say machismo because I think machismo is the incorrect word, or machos. It just flies in the face of conventional wisdom of men beating their chest, saying they better this female, they better this female, they better this female. It may look good to the guys in your peer group, excuse me, or to the younger guys, but it gets to a point when that type of behavior starts to filter out. It's a turn off to a lot of women because for what you see on social media, there's a lot that you don't see, and people still text, people still talk on the phone, people still communicate through ways that are not electronic, and that's how a lot of fellas end up getting caught up. We just see now with the whole Derek Jackson fiasco, and that's somebody that the manosphere has
D
been at for
Jax.
years. He's getting divorced. How do you think all this stuff filters out in the mainstream media? Because people aren't careful. It's the old adage in the military, especially in the Navy: loose lips sink ships. This is what. Think about all the people, and you can put yourself in this category. Think about all the people that have kids, a wife, or something, and nobody's ever known about it. That's because they keep their business in house.
Well, honestly, if you are doing something with a person, a grown man at that, why? The fact that you feel like you have to sign an NDA is crazy to me.
But think about it.
Like, I
In
know I
health,
said I'm gonna do that, but I said that to be funny. I don't
no,
ever
but
feel like I have to do that.
but let me put it to you like this: I do that, so it's not new to me. I tell people from day one, I don't care what we do, I don't care where we do it at. If I hear tell from anybody that you and I been anywhere, you done. No rhyme, no reason, no question. You done.
I'm not gonna be nobody's secret.
See, and that's
Unless, I
where.
mean, unless it's for both of us, unless we both agree that this is a secret.
But see, this is where people get it wrong. Our business is just that. It's our business. Just because nobody else knows about it doesn't mean it needs to be a secret. And that's where a lot of people get caught up at. They want people to
I
know
agree
what
with that.
they want people to know who they're doing what with. Why? Are you inviting them in? Are they paying?
See, a lot of it reminds me of grown ass show and tell. When you used to have show and tell back when you were in elementary, it used to bring things like, hey, look what I got. This is what I want to show off. But it's ironic. It's kind of entertaining when you see people and you're like, damn, like you look at their stuff and I'm like, why do they put all this stuff single, complicated, and all this stuff? And you see that shit 6 months ago it said they were married, then they something come up and you see single, and I'm like, what? See, this is why
Yeah, that's
you don't put all
embarrassing.
your stuff out there like that, because
Mhm.
you never know. You don't know
Right.
what's solid or what's not. And now you're looking like a damn fool in sheep's clothing because you want to advertise for social media and they're getting personal entertainment. But that's what a lot of people like to do. They like for people to get personal entertainment off of them.
Mm.
And it's unfortunate. Like I said, a lot of guys, and I'll speak from the guy's perspective because I already know how women treat social media. But I'm gonna speak from the guy's perspective in this manner. A lot of guys, they still haven't been taught the finer points of being quote unquote a playboy, if you will. I'm gonna bring up an old movie, Colors. And in the beginning of that movie, the field training officer, which was played by I can't remember his name right now, and the younger officer that was played by Sean Penn, they're sitting in the patrol car, and he's telling them a joke. He says, "This the father bull and the son bull are out there watching the cows in the pasture." The son says to the father, he says, "Dad, why do we run down there and have sex with a cow?" Father looks at him and said, "No, son." He said, "Let's walk down and have sex with them all."
Ooh.
Too many fellas don't know how to finesse life. They think everything they do has got to be billboard material. They got to have the flashiest car, the nicest watch, the best looking female. Only to realize that while you doing all that, somebody doing the same thing you doing, and probably more with less fanfare because they see the need to not do that. Too many fellas are out here playing themselves, thinking they doing the most, and they don't realize until they're exposed. This is why you see all these women with these screenshots, exposing them, putting them out there on blast. And then the fellas got to run and hide. Now you got to delete your social media or recreate a new profile because you done been embarrassed and played.
Yeah, you see that quite often, and I always say to myself, you do not have to post everything. You do not have to um, do everything in real time. Like it doesn't make sense to me because all you do is all you're doing is open up like floodgates for people to come at you. Uh, and of course, the first thing people do is start going through your page and start
Mhm.
looking around. And then it gets to the point that people now, oh, they screenshot stuff and put your picture, their stuff on their page. And and then let their people tee off on you and
Mhm.
all of that. Like for what?
Mhm.
For what? In the words of my first, and I always make reference to him, my first counseling 101 in my master's program, Dr. Papalato. Shout out to him. I don't know if he's living or not, but he was a legend in that program. Some things you put out there, or some things certain people ask, what are you going to do with that information? When you put stuff out there, what are other people going to do with that information? Do they really care? Do they really care, or do they just go along with it just because, oh, he getting a little traction here, so let me jump in, and if I make a like or whatever or send an emoji, then I'm going to be able to see all the activity that goes on. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Not in the not in the long run.
Yeah, but and I know people probably have the question, well, what happens if you get with an individual who does not honor the request? Cut them off. You you have to be willing to lay down a set of rules that's not only going to govern your behavior, but govern the behavior of a person you're dealing with. And I always tell people this: I don't have a degree, but the one thing I do understand is self mastery. And a lot of people don't understand that in order to be able to deal with anybody else that you're dealing with, doesn't matter if it's work, recreation, family, or random strangers, you have to be able to deal with yourself. You have to be able to master yourself, all your emotional complexities that you come with, and you have to be able to do that in real time. So you don't act out of quote unquote character. Because any of us at any time are subject to an emotional outburst. The only question becomes, how bad is that emotional outburst going to hurt you? Case in point, you take black people who are, pardon the use of the term, But you take black people who are called nigger by white people, and what is the first thing that most of those black people are going to do?
Body slam
They're going to
immediately.
have a volatile reaction. And it's
No,
understandable.
honestly, anytime I have gotten that, I say, ooh, because they think there's so much power in it. I'm not even gonna get mad. I'll just be like, ooh, you got me with that one, huh? It's a
And
joke to me now because you think it has power that it doesn't.
absolutely correct. And I've been called that before by people while I was
And it's
working.
only when they're pissed. It's like they're pissed and you're
Hmm.
not there with them. So they
Hmm.
want to get you there. So that's the one thing they think is gonna get you there. So they're like, boom. And it's just like, ooh, gotcha.
Yeah,
What's next?
honestly, and that's exactly what I mean. When you exhibit that kind of power and you can exert that kind of control, you become dangerous because now people don't know how to handle you, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. People have asked this question, and I'll pose it to the listeners. Would you rather be loved or feared? I'm sorry, no. Would you rather be respected or feared? Most people would say they'd rather be respected, and that's not the wrong answer. Me personally,
Respect.
I want to be feared. Why? Because very few people will ever do something to somebody that they fear. Think about all the people you know that have
What?
been respected and the things that have been done to them.
Think about all the people that have been feared and the stuff that's been done to them. I could be scared of a cat, but I ain't gonna let a cat attack me.
No, but you're less likely to sleep around that individual who you've done something to that you know will do something back to you. In other words, if you do something to somebody, if you do something wrong, and I mean flat out wrong, to somebody that you fear, you're going to avoid that person.
See, I think again, and you had mentioned it before, her about it's okay to feel any emotion. It's what you do with it. Like when people are angry or whatever, it's okay to be angry. There's
Hmm.
nothing wrong with being angry. It's what you do with it that counts. So
Mhm.
I think that a lot of times when people, that's why certain people know who buttons to push,
Right.
because they know that, oh, this person's a ticking time bomb. I can say this or that and I can easily get to them. Even in relationships, you may know your partner's shortcomings, and some people play on that. But a person who doesn't lose his emotion, I mean, channels his emotions and kind of doesn't get bothered by that, those are probably the people you probably should fear. Because you like, damn, I don't know what he's thinking or she is thinking, because her response is always even killed to everything.
Right.
So you always kind of apprehensive. And even like in professional settings, um people that's quiet, they they always they want to know what you're thinking all the
Hmm.
time. It bothers them that you they don't know what you're thinking. And and if you display consistency with that, they don't know. They just don't know. So that makes people feel uneasy as well.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's about making people respect you as an individual. It's not necessarily to make somebody think that you're going to do something to them. That's not what I want to convey. And if that's what somebody got out of it, then let me correct that. It's about having people approach you and treat you in a dignified manner. So they're not disrespecting you, they're not mistreating you, they're not abusing you. Because often we hear about people, especially in relationships, well, he treats me like this. Well, why? I don't know. No, there's a particular reason why an individual treats any individual a certain way. Mainly because they think they can get away with it. Mainly because there's no punishment behind the behavior. So if a fella is out here messing around with multiple women. He gets one of these women's pregnant, and then he just leaves her, and he comes back and slashes her tires. He's apt to say, "Yo, that chick crazy." She ain't crazy. She's reacting how an emotional, vulnerable woman would react. This is why I tell fellas, if you're gonna be out here doing that type of stuff, know who you messing with, know who you dealing with. Because once you enter that realm, once you get a woman pregnant, that NDA is done. And that's what a lot of fellas don't understand. This is how a lot of fellas get put out there. They mess around dealing with this female, not exercising any precaution, and she may or she may not, but we know he ain't. He out here being reckless. And next thing you know, it's like Lucy. It's like Ricky used to say to Lucy, "You got some explaining to do." So I mean, people, like I said, these NDAs they go both ways. You're not gonna be a man and have a chick signing it, and you out here behaving recklessly. You out here running around with this female telling your boy you did this and this. Well, your boy's gonna be like, "Wait a minute, ain't you supposed to be messing with such and such?" Keep him out your business. I don't care if they're your right hand man, because my right hand man doesn't always know what I'm doing. Like case in point, 90% of the time I go to a sporting event, I'm not there alone, but nobody never knows who I'm there with.
Unless I run into you there.
You're not going to,
How you figure?
because you're not gonna know I'm there.
But that's the thing. That's why I'm running into you.
No, 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 no. You don't get it. You and I don't do the same things. Case in point, when I went to the Yankees game in Toronto, where were you
Weren't
at?
you in a box?
Like I said, when I was at the Yankees games in Toronto, where were you at?
I don't know.
When I went to the Yankees game in Cleveland, where were you at?
But see what I'm saying
Where were
is
you at?
but what I'm
Where were
saying
you
is
at? I'm
if
gonna keep
there
asking the
is
question
a
until you answer it. Where were you at?
I don't know because I don't know when
You
you last
weren't
were.
there. That's my
I
point.
understand that. My point is this. So let me say, for instance, right? I don't frequent basketball games or anything like that. However, I have been to a few basketball games. Each and every time I was in a box. However, if I stepped out that box or on my way from that box into my car, there's an opportunity for anybody in life that I know to one, see me or to run into me. Now, I don't have to tell that person. I don't have to tell anybody. Majority of the times I take pictures of certain places and certain things. I don't put people in there. You don't know if I'm with my best friend. You don't know if I'm with my boyfriend. You don't know if I'm with my boo friend or my sneaky link. However, but if you just happen to be, at that same event, unbeknownst to me, you didn't know you were going to see me there. I didn't know I was going to see you there. We just ran into each other. And I might, if I know I see somebody doing something that they are not supposed to do, I will make every effort to act like I did not see you. I promise you I will. Because I want
Well,
the same
it's
thing in return.
Let
I
me
want the
hold on,
same
hold
thing
on,
in
hold on.
return.
I gotta write. I gotta write the equation down. What you said, Sean. Let's see. I heard what you said. You said boyfriend, boo friend, and sneaky link.
I
Now,
said
I,
yeah, I'm
and or.
just saying. So that's.
I'm go ahead. I'm sorry, David.
I just want to know how many other women have those options: boyfriend, boo friend, and a sneaky link.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
you best friend, homeboy. Oh, there's options.
Mm.
And I'm going to address that in a moment. I just want to say this. I'm not saying what you're saying is incorrect, Shaughnessy. It's very, very correct. The only thing is, I tend to go to sports that people that I know aren't going to.
Oh,
I
okay,
don't
I
know too
got
many.
you.
I don't know
Right.
too many black people going to Sabres games.
Mm,
I don't know
okay.
too many. I don't know too many people that are crossing the border to go to Yankee games in Toronto. I don't know
Hmm.
too many people that are going to
Well, maybe it's because
Cleveland.
I grew up in New York. I know
Well, no,
some, but
but I'm a Yankees fan, so trust me, I do have plans on going down to New York and watching them play. I haven't got there yet, and I got my
right,
man,
right.
I got my man down there in New York City too. I have to hit up. I haven't spoken to him probably
But
about
no,
a
I
year
can
since he
I
got
can
married.
definitely agree to your point because if I know I'm being stinky, then I might go on a hiking trail. I'm not finna run into nobody I know there.
Exactly my point. You're gonna, and this leads into another thing,
Go do some pottery or something.
right? People are always people are always talking about date ideals, but they never want to do the things you just said. They never want to take those kind of class, never go to an art class, never do a hiking trail. They don't want to do any of that. And then they wonder why the people that they deal with aren't exciting. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything. They,
You gotta
I
take
mean,
them whale watching.
well, the thing about that, let's look at it like this. A lot of people would think whale watching is boring, and I'll be the first to say I've never been whale watching, but it is absolutely something I would do because the moment you get to see a whale, and if it happens to break the surface, you will be forever changed because you will have witnessed an event live that very few people have done live. Now, the only problem you're going to have is if you're with an individual and they start talking about it and they don't understand how to keep people out of the business, eventually they're going to give up the ghost. That's why I tell people you have to
Not for
be.
me. It's whale watching tours in Virginia Beach, so you can talk about the whales you've seen all you want.
Oh, okay, all right then. You got it then. See, I don't have that luxury. So if I'm going down to Virginia and I'm not going by myself, I got to make sure that NDA is in place. I
You
got
had
I got to I
But
got to make
but
sure.
it's back to your point where you're not gonna run into anybody, any of us at least, that are whale
Yes,
watching.
but I
You're gonna be
I
one of a kind on that trip on that boat.
yes, but I do like to post certain things on social media. So I do take pictures of places that I have been. Sometimes
Oh,
I'll take
okay.
them while I'm there, and I've been known to go live from sporting events. Okay, so I went live from the Yankees game when they were in Cleveland. I went live from the Yankees game when they were in Toronto. But I make sure that myself is never in the picture. I make sure that anybody that I might go with is never in the picture. And if I happen to take pictures of myself and another individual together, that picture never
They
sees
ain't
the light
getting
of day.
right. Never getting posted. But
Not only not
so
only is
what
it
if
not getting
both of
posted,
y'all? What if both of y'all are like taking pictures and geotagging where you guys are, or you don't
yeah.
people
Yeah,
are
you do
good at
have
this.
detectives like that.
People are good at this. They're like, oh, well, that's the same angle that you were at. That was the same part of the club you were in when you took your picture. I see it. He took a picture and his shoe, the heel of his shoe, was next to your shoe, and it's the same shoe that he had on in his picture. And it's like, bro, what?
there's only one thing though. I don't geotag my location.
But I know if you had a Yankees versus Toronto game and you go live on a Tuesday and this particular person takes a picture outside of the Toronto whoever's stadium and takes a picture on the same Tuesday.
Oh, you can speculate all you want. I can't stop the world from speculating, nor would I.
Oh, okay.
But when it comes to asking questions, you already know the answer.
Gotcha.
MYOB. Mind your own business. You ain't getting no answers out of me. You sure ain't getting no answers out of the other party.
Gotcha.
All right. It's two things. I want to read Marcia's comment. Then it just reminded me of this back in the days, the situation that I ran across. Um, but Marcia said, I'm the type of person who has few friends for that simple reason. Some women have a tendency to become gossipers. They want to know about your business, but when it comes to them, you know nothing. Yeah, you always have them people. They dig up and pry for information, and then they're not giving you, and that's why I always use the phrase greater than, less than, equal. That's what you have to give people. They give you greater, you give them greater. They give you less than, you give them less than, or you give them equal. But you can't. When we talked about this last week, the imbalance. It can't be that you're oversharing and they don't tell you anything, or they're blah blah blah, just giving out limited information. So that's a good point. But to go back to um, what Herb said, a quick story had came across my mind back when I was younger. Like, see, Niagara Falls and Buffalo, not everybody was trailblazers from Niagara Falls that would go to Buffalo, even though it's only 12, 15 minutes away. A lot of Niagara Falls people, they stayed in Niagara Falls and they wouldn't venture off. But my crew, we kind of ventured off to Buffalo because I knew a lot of Buffalo um, people from Buffalo because they end up coming to Niagara University for college. So we would always, you know, head over that way. But I remember running into this one guy. He kind of, and it was like on the boulevard, so it was like in between. But I was close. I was real close to his actual girlfriend when she's close to my sister. Uh, and but we all, if they're cool with your sister, we are brothers or sisters. We all around each other. And I guess he caught himself like, yeah, I'm about to dip off here and go out to eat with some young lady. And I happened to be coming in there with a young lady coming in there to grab something to eat, and he was walking out. You could see the look on his face, like God damn, because he knew, like, man, David about to tell, he about to tell. But I never said anything. I just, we spoke whatever, and I kept it moving. But I know he probably that whole probably a couple weeks he probably was on pins and needles, like oh, he gonna tell, but
Weeks, months. He probably
yeah.
still waiting.
Yeah, well, it's probably past that. It's past that. What they call it? The statutory
Yeah, statute of
Statute of
limitations.
limitations.
limitations. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
past that point. But it was just funny because to 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 have that on your mind, to wonder like, damn, and just think about it. And I don't even know if it was cell phones and all that stuff. That's how long ago it was. But in this day and age, you would be jacked up. You would be jacked up like, damn, looking at your partner like, damn, she get a text or a phone call, like, damn, is this the call that's go blow
I need
me
a
there, whatever.
picture. I'm sorry. I don't text, phone call. I need a picture. FaceTime me or it ain't happen. FaceTime me or picture me or it didn't happen.
So even if it's somebody that like they ain't
Send me a
lying.
picture.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cause people be I go back to a story probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I have a mutual friend with the best friend of mine. I'm not gonna say who it was or whatever, but um we all went out together and she was like, wait, so you're talking about this person? And she was like, yeah. She was like, this is your boyfriend? And she's like, girl, what? She's like, so Sean, should I say something? And I'm like, I don't know what you got to say. Like, don't let me in it. I don't have, like, what's going on? And she's like, well, I saw this person, such and such, same name, same occupation, same description. And I was almost positive that my mutual friend knew exactly who this person was. So I'm like, yeah, okay. So turns into a big deal. So she calls him and she's like, you, blah, 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 and going off. And he's like, no, absolutely not. No, 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 absolutely not. Goes back and forth, back and forth. And she's like, I promise you, I saw him, promise you. 2 days later, I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on, but I'm absolutely positively sure that he's sitting here saying that it was not him under no circumstances. We never thought, because of course at the time we was all drinking and stuff out and about. We get the picture, and it's not the same person. It's not the same person.
Mm.
It's not the same person at all. It just was a big coincidence that, these two were from the same place, had the same occupation, same description, blah, 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 was not the same person. Another time, I had actually, it was the same friend, which is really funny. Same friend. She came on, same friend and same boyfriend. They walked into the house unsolicited. A little kid in relation to me was like, "Wasn't you here last night with Mr. Such and Such?"
Wow.
And all the adults were looking around like, "Wait, what?" And then we realized, we look up and we like, "No, no, 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 no." It the whole time it was another light skinned curly haired chick that you saw the other night. You did not see her. Like,
Mm,
you did not see her. And girl, bye. Girl, bye. First of
wow.
all, why was why in the world would you even think to say it was around the holidays too,
Mhm.
this was pre-COVID too. So, it's a little bit more free, people in and out coming over for drinks, dinner, family time. And she just was straight like, "Wasn't you here with such and such? Like, didn't I meet you the other night with somebody else?" And it just was like, no. And then everybody had to clarify, but the boyfriend was like, "No, it's cool. We was together the other night. We couldn't make it the other night. That's why we ended up coming tonight." So I already know it wasn't her, but it was hilarious. But it was like, that quick stuff could get mixed up and misconstrued. So I need pictures. I need pictures and proof. And guys like to lie and they like to swear on their grandmother and their aunts
Mm-hmm.
and their mothers and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So I need proof. So there's no way you could swindle out of this.
So only guys swear on their grandmother grave. Another point, Shaughnessy. You dropping some. I gotta take notes for that. Gotta write this down.
and the
I'm
other
just
thing with that,
saying.
go ahead, Sonzy.
No, I'm just saying that's what y'all be doing.
Hey, I have no need to lie. I tell people
They
if
bring, I mean, they will swear on Bethel's grave in a minute.
yeah, they're singing the Shaggy song, "Wasn't Me."
Right.
And the thing about what Shaughnessy, and to add on to what Shaughnessy is saying, and and I agree with it. If you go say you saw something, send me a picture. Not that I need to worry about that because I don't care one way or the other. If you're doing you, do you. The reason why is because you have a lot of shicey people out here who are angling for what you have. I'll say it again.
Mm.
You have a lot of shicey people out here who are angling for what you have. So all you brothers are out there talking about how good she is when she serving you up. Don't think you ain't got some cats that's talking about, hmm, I wonder how good that really is. Next thing you know,
Mm.
they setting you up for failure. A month
Right.
later, he talking about, yo, man, you know what? You was right. Right about what? About homegirl,
Oh,
man. She good. You thinking
oh,
what? You
that is some.
yo,
Ooh,
you got. I'm telling you, you got cats out here that will do you dirty like that, just just for it.
that's
I'm not. I'm
crazy.
not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. I haven't experienced it per se, but I know there's some cats out there that's doing grimy like that. Just like there's some women out there who don't mind sharing cats,
Mm.
and I can speak to that personally. There are women out here who will say, "Oh, what? Really? Okay. Let me go behind her back and let him slide in and let's see if the goods is really good."
See, that's why you don't even. That's crazy.
I'm t-
Mm-mm.
but think about it. Why do we hear about these love triangles between friends, relatives? I don't make this stuff up. I just happen to bring it to the surface because sometimes we walk around with blinders on because we're busy, and I understand it. But what I always tell people is, every once in a while, raise your head up from the grindstone, take a look around, and just see what you see. Because all these stories about friends getting pregnant by other friends and the other person didn't know, a lot of this stuff is out there. I'm not saying everybody engages in it, just a small percentage, but it's a large enough percentage for people to say, "Yo, you 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 got to be careful who you disseminate information to," because that, like they say, our listening ears are cheating ear.
Mm, yikes.
I'm just they out here. They doing it. I'm just saying. Be wise. Move move quietly.
And I could tell you, it reminds me of another situation before, and you know, one of my peoples, one of my boys, I try not to be too transparent, but
It's hard. It's
uh,
hard.
but you try to have real live connections so people can kind of understand. We out at the club. I walk by. I see his young lady, his girl. He wasn't in there, sitting on another dude's lap. I'm like, what the fuck? So I
Mm.
go back and tell one of my boys. I was like, yo, man.
See? No,
Oh,
mind your business.
yeah, but
Well, no, that's
that
well,
was
no,
a mistake. That was my mistake. That was my mistake because I told one of my boys.
If
I was
that's
like,
not that man's wife, none of your business.
but let me just finish. So I was like, damn, like she just sitting on this dude. Like, he's like, for real, word. He's like, you think we should tell him? I said, nah, I ain't telling nothing. I said shit because I said, it ain't gonna do no good. Like shit, he sprung pretty much, and
okay,
then he
okay.
was like, well, all right, you right. But he goes back. I guess probably when they was riding around, probably smoking, drinking. He goes back and tell him, and then tell where the source came from. So he like, oh
Mm,
man, David, oh man, I don't believe nothing. David saying because Quiet as kept my girl told me he used to like her. What? Like what? Like she totally reversed it, and she used to like me, but that wasn't my motive for even. I just happened to walk by and seen it, but you know, in hindsight, when I think about it as I got older, I said I shouldn't have said shit. I should have just seen it and kept on walking and kept that information to myself. But I was younger, and sometimes you put stuff out there and you tell a person, "Nah, don't say nothing." People can't wait. People can't wait to share information and get stuff out. It's like they want to be the first person to break the news, and that's why, and this is totally not related, but that's why when someone dies and family members don't know about it, but people are quick to put information out there. Rest in peace, such and such. Wait a minute, like we didn't even
yeah.
know about this. People they want to be the first person to break news. So they could get traction to their page and all that stuff. And I'm like, damn, could you give this family time to gather their thoughts or whatever the case is? But
So,
this is the world we live in.
question: if that was one of your good friends, why wouldn't you have said, "Hey, you good?"
To
Why
her,
wouldn't you have said, "Yeah, absolutely" to her, not to him? Hey, you good? You all right?
it wasn't none of my. I, I don't know, like to come up and say
Because
something.
that's always my question in those moments. Like, well, what did you say?
I didn't
Oh,
say
I
Let me
didn't
answer
nothing.
that
say
question.
anything.
Let me answer that question in this way. It's going to depend on a couple different variables. One, and David said this. He said the guy was sprung. So the last thing you want to do as a man to your boy is put him in a situation to where he's emotionally compromised.
I'm not putting him in no situation because he would have never. Now, don't get me wrong. He still would have never known about it. But I definitely would have said, "Hey, how are you?" I would have made myself know. Oh, you good? You straight? Everything good? You want a drink? Don't
But you
But
know
worry.
see,
what?
but
You
see,
know
I'll
what?
catch you
You
later.
know what? You know what? When she sat on his lap, she already knew what she was dealing with in my man, so she ain't give a fuck.
right.
So therefore, it was not for me to do anything but to look and say, "Oh shit, like what the hell," and go back and continue on passing our, having our drinks. But I shared the information and I didn't think it was going to go no further, but it ended up going further. And it still he never said anything to me. It was like that. He say, oh, yeah, this was such and such said, whatever. He said this and that. I'm not about to even play these games, but I told you before, don't say nothing to him. So I'm not about to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So
about
that puts
this.
somebody, but see, just approaching the situation. Hey, what's up? You good? You need a
I
drink?
understand that method. I understand.
That puts you in a position to tell on yourself. I didn't say nothing. Oh, I thought she was just having fun. I saw, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I
but
just
that's the
spoke.
difference between how a woman would do things because women in that situation don't mind being confrontational. As a guy, you have
That's
to be.
not confrontational.
Hold on, woman. I'll explain to you why it's confrontational. Because if you walk up to a female and do that, and that guy doesn't know you, you don't know how that guy's going to respond.
Yeah, he goes, who the fuck is that? Like, yo, what you
Bingo.
mean? Yeah.
And now you might put her in a situation to where if he's a loose cannon, he's gonna go upside her head.
But you,
That's the thing that women don't understand in terms of why guys don't do certain things. Because a guy's never gonna square off on you. And the guy's not gonna give a damn if you walk up to another female and ask. He might say, yo, who is that? Is she down? That's the difference. And I say that because I've been in that situation. I have my right hand man, I'm not mentioning any names, drop dime on me or drop dime to me about something that went down between a cat I used to hang out with, we both used to hang out with, and a female I was dealing with. I didn't trip. I just exposed the situation. I said, all right, I see it for what it is. But not every guy is capable of doing that. So it's like David
mm,
said, if that guy is sprung, he might take it out on you, which is the last thing that you want. You don't want your boy coming at you sideways because the chick that he dealing with is out here doing something shady. This is why I always tell cats, I say, look, take your ass out of town. I don't care if you got to save up for a couple months and just shorty you feeling. Go somewhere where don't nobody know you. Ain't
not giving
nobody
cheaters
listen.
tips.
It's not even it's this is not even about being a cheater. I'm just speaking I'm speaking straight up. If you got something that you don't want nobody knowing about, go where ain't nobody going. And it's
Mm,
not it's this
that don't
is
work
straight
neither. That don't work
right on it.
neither. Because 9 times out of 10, are you not going to tell your partner where you're going?
No. I'm not saying that if you're in a relationship. What I'm simply saying is if there's something that you want to keep between you and whoever it is that you're doing with, whether it's your wife, your husband, girlfriend, whatever the case is, go somewhere where ain't nobody going.
Black women are unmatched. I'm just saying
Unmatched in
that.
what? Unmatched in what?
I'm telling you, if they had more black women on the FBI, things would get dangerous.
Nah,
Things would get dangerous real quick.
nah.
Think you going out of town? If not, think you going out of town because you most certainly are going out of town. And I'm most certainly gonna find out. I have time, especially when a woman wants or feels a certain intuition, but she feels like she needs proof. She is gonna figure it out. And don't let her have a couple of homegirls that's down for the cause. Cause I've been in the living room, sitting on the floor with a glass of wine with a group of girls with hotels, just calling numbers, such and such, such and such. And did we hit the nail on the head and find out? Yes. And did we call the hotel room number? Yes. Did we? Yeah, mm-hmm.
so
Yes.
so Shaughnessy, in cases like that, usually you go through, put in all that work, and they still end up being together.
No,
Hmm.
that's not true. No. A lot of times
In
when
many
you get to that,
cases.
in that sense, it was one of those things that because I have to give it to some men. They are slick. So when you feel a certain way, but it's
Mm.
like you do not have any you feel that certain way and you've been feeling that way for a long time, but you don't have any proof. It might be something weird on Thursday nights you don't answer your phone from 6 to 8, then you pop up home with flowers, and then it's like, oh wow, okay, I was being a jerk. And then it's always instances where it seems or appears as if you're being a jerk or you're being an insecure one. And it's like, no, I gotta figure this out. Typically when you get to that point, it's like I need to figure it out, and once I figure it out, it's over. Cause now that's my hole in one basically. I figured it out.
You know, and you know what kills a lot of men when they're actually being unfaithful, whether they're married or in a committed relationship.
They dumb.
Patterns.
Yep. Yep.
They do the
Yep.
same thing all the time, every time.
Yep.
So when you break that pattern, it sends off an alarm bell.
Yep. Because it's not that hard. If I know you only like Marriott, guess what? You just saved me a full trip of calling all the West Ends and all the like. I don't have to call the Sheratons. I could skip right over them because I know you're only gonna be at the
I'm gonna give you
Marriotts.
fellas. I'm gonna give you fellas some game,
Oh
some
Lord,
real
here we
bona
go.
fide
How to
game.
cheat?
No, I'm gonna give you some game on how to keep your business, even if you only like Marriotts. Don't get anything in your name. That's some game for you, brothers. Get it in her name.
Cheat
That don't
code.
work. That's not smart. That's not smart.
Why
Don't
isn't
even
it?
do that.
Why not?
Because 9 times out of 10, if you go that far, then you know that too. We started with the girl name because we thought he wasn't gonna be dumb enough to put it in his name.
But wait a minute. But wait a minute. You don't know who she is.
I told y'all, women. No,
Oh
no, no. I told y'all, women,
no!
black women in particular.
What I'm telling you is what I've done. You don't know who she is because she doesn't hit the light of day. In other
But
words,
she gotta
her
call
and I
your
could.
phone. She gotta call your phone.
Says who?
So what, you gonna get a burner phone?
And now you're starting to think. So you see, now you done ran into somebody who actually know the levels of this game. I have a home phone. Good luck tracing the calls. Oh, didn't think about that, huh?
No, believe me, please believe. I have your social. I'll do a credit check quick, unless it's a real burner that you got from Walmart.
I said
But
a home phone.
a home phone, that's even easier. I can get
How you
that
gonna
call
track calls
off.
on a home phone?
Tuh. I'll holler at you at a later date.
I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying how are you gonna do it?
I got a friend that worked for Verizon or whatever the case is. Or
Because you need my home phone number.
I have people in high places. I have people in very low places. It'll get figured
That's, you
out.
know what, that's what I always hear. But you know what? I've had the phone numbers I've had for more than 20 years, and you'll never find them in the phone book. They're unlisted.
Absolutely. Okay. Hmm.
yeah, funny.
No, I just like to see how people try and figure out some of the stuff, because the thing about it is this: people act like people are sitting up there. A guy that's busy ain't got that kind of time.
Hmm.
He not doing all that. He not sending out good morning text. He ain't sending out good night text. The text he might send out is, yo, this is what I plan on doing. Are
I
you
feel like
down?
the text messages nowadays are the ones that are the harder ones.
Well, but this is the thing. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
We're
need you to
not
send no
talking.
text. I need you to like to talk on the phone.
We're not going to do that. That's my point.
So you're just not talking at all.
I'm going to send out a text. This is what I got planned. Are you down? No. All right, cool. I'm gone. That's it.
Mm.
If I sit up on the phone and I talk for hours with somebody, rest assured, there ain't nothing going on between us. Absolutely nothing. Ain't nothing but some
Really?
conversation.
Why is that? So you're
Because
not something is some. Go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't hear you.
No, I said something that you're saying that if you're on the phone with a person for hours at a time, nothing is going on between you two.
Absolutely nothing.
Why is that?
Because we gonna do our talking in person.
But what if you guys have demanded schedules?
We're gonna do our
So what y'all
talking
gonna
in
catch
person.
up? So y'all gonna catch up on Friday?
Catch up for what?
Cause y'all
I
done
don't need to
seen
know
each
what's
other
going on in
all
your
week.
life. I don't need to know what's going on in your
Why?
life.
Is it a such? Does people even have those conversations anymore like we used to, where you can be on the phone with someone for a couple hours. Those was the good old days. Those was the good days when you could and you're like, damn it, I was supposed to do this, and this I called you or you called me at 2 o'clock. Now it's damn 4:30.
I be speaking to multiple people multiple times a day. I may only get one person for over an hour. I might have a good day where I can give two people more than an hour. But people still talk on the phone.
No, I do that. But what I'm saying is, if I have, I wanna keep this kind of PG. If I have that kind of rapport with a woman, her and I aren't talking about those things because they don't matter to what we gonna do. The
You wouldn't be
conversation that I
locked
have
into
with the
your
woman. Go ahead, Shaughnessy.
partner. I said you wouldn't be locked into your partner or friend. Like, granted, there are some people in some relationships, you're day to day, you're hour to hour, you're minute to minute. I could care less about. We're here for one thing and one thing only. I get that. But what I'm saying is somebody that you're actually taking serious, whether you consider yourself in a relationship with them or not, you are going to have some type of conversation with them throughout the week or when you guys aren't seeing each other.
Nah, I'm not interested in the hardships you're having at the job. Not unless somebody put their hands on you. I got my
What
own
about
cross.
life?
What about life?
What
I
if
live
I
with you.
what
I
if,
I
what
already,
if
I
I
already know what's going on.
what if my big toe hurt?
Go to the hospital. See, this is fellas, understand what's going on here. This is how women try to curtail you and bend you to what she wants. It's not bad,
Absolutely not. I don't
but you
think that's
have
a
to be able to
word.
say, you know what? Look, it's Sunday. It's 12:30. I got my spread on the table. Don't bother me.
But I mean, women have those moments
Don't
too
bother
where they're
me.
unavailable. I mean,
Go to your
I
go to
don't.
your go to your female friends. It's Saturday. It's
Yikes.
September, and they're about to kick off.
But see, that's not the time that y'all would be having those conversations because y'all done had them conversations on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So really on Sunday while the game is on, y'all are not talking about those things.
But this is what I'm trying to get across to you. What you deem important as a conversation, just like a lot of other women, really isn't important. It's important
But
to you.
But no, it can be coming from a man's point of view or a man's.
Men
I
don't
don't
sit down and
necessarily. I'm
discuss their
not.
days.
That's not true at all. That is not true at all. I
Okay.
lit. I literally. This sounds so bad. I can't. How do I say this? Hmm. All right. Me and a particular person. Right. We have a text message, a certain text message that we will send throughout the day to each other, and that just basically means call me as soon as you can. I will send a text message or he will send a text message. It says, "Bring the weed. I got a story to tell." Neither one
Hold,
of us smoke.
Is
hold
Neither
on.
one of us
is that
smoke.
boyfriend, boyfriend, or sneaky link?
You doing too much. You doing way too much.
But that's the report that you guys have. So that's understandable. What I'm saying is the
But
average
if
guy,
but somebody else,
say that again.
I would just get a FaceTime from FaceTime. I know if you FaceTime me, hey, patient care right now, can't FaceTime. You good? No. It's either a no or it's either, yeah, call me when you get a chance. All right. So now I know. And 9 times out of 10, it's about something that happened at work. It's about a ventable moment, a moment that I needed to vent about. And or I wanted your because I trust your response or I
Hmm.
trust how much you know me, how I may have given this off or how I may come off where, you'll say, don't even say nothing, let it go. Don't even say nothing. Or if I say go off, because yeah, they deserve it. Go ahead, send that email.
I'm I just so I'm clear, I'm not saying that men don't have people who they discuss things with. Everyone on this planet does.
But you're
Whether it's
saying men don't
hold
typically
on,
talk
hold on,
about
hold on,
their
hold on, hold
day.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Whether it's male to male, female to female, or female to male,
Hmm.
everybody has somebody that they bounce ideals or situations off of.
Right.
It doesn't happen every day. So if a man comes home and he's had an odd situation occur, of course he's going to bounce it off the person that he's residing with. That's normal. Because like you said, you want to get the feedback of somebody that knows you. But that's something that's continuously and ongoing that's got to happen daily. Most men aren't doing that because we don't offload like that. Now we might offload on each other like that because I have my older brother who I talk to about things. But I don't do that with a female that I'm involved with because that's the last thing I want to deal with her. I don't want to. Why do I want to offload that on her? She don't need to carry
Mm.
that burden.
But isn't
One,
that part
go ahead.
of partnership?
Not
Because
for
I
me.
feel like, I
Hold on, hold
mean,
on, hold on, hold on. Say that again. What's the second word?
you said I feel like no,
Yes.
but if this is look, why can't you should you're to this is just me again. I will clarify and I will say just me. My thought process is you should feel comfortable and you should have a safe space and place with your partner. And I'm not saying that I have to be your safe place and space, but I have to and I should. There may be a time where, yes, instead of calling this guy friend or this male or et cetera, et cetera, I may call my sister or I may call my best friend because they're not going to understand exactly what I'm saying. That's fine. But for the most part, I should be able to tell my partner or whoever that is in this position what's going on and vice versa. They should be able to tell me what's going on and how it's going and laugh, laugh, giggle. Don't even trip on it, blah blah blah, and then we get back to our day.
All
Because
right.
honestly,
Let me run the situation down to you then. I come home. 22-year-old intern comes in. She just graduated Harvard with her master's.
mhm,
She's fucking fine as hell.
mhm.
She asked me if I was married. I said yes. She said how long? I said well, we know our 10th anniversary is coming up. She said, oh, that's a shame. I said why? Because I want to suck your dick. Am I gonna come home and tell you that? Am I gonna come home and have that discussion with you? How is that discussion gonna go?
You ain't say it.
How is that discussion going to go though? Know that there's an intern in there who wants to get in my pants and do some of the things that you might be doing. How is that conversation gonna go?
I, I I don't know. I'm not married and I haven't been married
But
for 10
that
years.
but what I'm saying is this. This is why men don't always come home and offload things on their mates because we understand what it could potentially do to the relationship. What if it plants a seed? We have a blow up argument, and I leave and go stay in the hotel for like you think I went to the intern's house.
But
After
see,
all, you
see
do track
that's
people.
but I don't track people.
Oh, your friends
Um,
do.
I don't track people. But what I'm saying is, but see that what's problematic there is if you have an argument with your spouse that you
Mm-hmm.
reside in the home with,
Mm-hmm.
you leaving
Mm-hmm.
to go to a hotel, your
Mm-hmm.
mother house, your friend house, your sister house, your cousin house is off
Mm-hmm.
limits. That's a no no. That's absolutely you can go in the other room, you could go wherever, but you leaving the household, that's crazy. That is crazy. That's wild.
So let me
I ain't
so
I ain't never hear no nah.
see the thing about that is it works if you can go into another room and it's peace. But
Absolutely. But why would
but
if you said
sometimes but sometimes and I'm not saying because it could be guys too, but
Yeah.
sometimes women like to create havoc
Mm-hmm.
throughout. And all of a sudden now they want you in your spot, you at peace. They want to clean up. They throwing shit around. They doing this and that. They ranting and raving. They on the phone talking. And you're like, damn, what the fuck? Like, eh, but you're still trying to. get peace with the situation, but they just carrying it on too far, just doing too much. And sometimes, and again,
What
that's why
kind of women? So wait. So basically, you saying you're being antagonized?
they do little, they will do stuff to irritate you, or whatever the case is. Because sometimes, not all kids, because sometimes guys could be just as worse.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
if you're a guy that like, okay, I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna find my peace. I'm gonna find my safe spot, whatever, and I'm
There's
just
one
gonna
thing to
chill.
say, like I'm gonna go take a ride, like I'm gonna go get in the car and ride. That's another. That's one thing. But to go say you're gonna go get in a hotel and spend the night away from the home that you're supposed to be protecting, just
Uh-oh.
no,
Uh-oh.
See,
Uh-oh.
nope,
Just stepped
so
in it.
nope,
so yeah. So what
nope.
if you're that in the face type of thing, and he like, yo, I gotta get away. I gotta go stay somewhere else because this could get ugly. This
Right.
could
No,
get
see that.
ugly.
See, I don't. Yeah, I don't do that. I don't
Yeah.
believe in that. That's
Yeah,
wild
but
to
it's
me.
people, it's women that do that because
Right.
they won't let you. If you go somewhere and you quiet, they're gonna find anything to still get in your face. Oh, like, oh
Yeah.
no, he didn't. Like I'm about to come down there, or I'm about to go in there, and you like, listen, leave me alone, leave me alone. So that's why you have these situations that happen often that it end up fatal shit, and
Yeah.
it's real. So you have to know. Again, we always talk about know your personnel, and you
Right.
have to know yourself. Like
Right.
I got to get the hell out of here. I got to go.
Even the
See,
Bible addresses this.
mm.
The Bible, and don't quote me on this verbatim anyway. The Bible says it is better to sit on the roof of a house than underneath it with a quarrelsome woman. If the Bible addresses it in that particular fashion,
It
then
says on
there
the roof.
has to
It says on the roof.
yes,
You still at the house.
yes,
Don't
but
sit on the roof.
the point is that you're somewhere that she can't see you, where she doesn't have access to you. Even Sister Sherazade Ali said, in order for black men to teach black women a lesson, he has to leave her at least once.
Mm.
At least once. She said that. So I'm not saying anything that hasn't been spoken by people who are more knowledgeable about women's behavior than me. That's why they will tell a lot of men, look,
Listen, I'm not. Look, I can't tell you wrong, but for me, that's a no. What are we
See,
doing?
see, you trying to see. You're looking at it as, but it's okay for a woman to do that. You call your sister or your best friend and like, girl, we about to come get you. Get the hell out the house with this nigga. You walk
No, but
away.
I said for a ride. Like what I said is for a ride. Like if you decide, like, okay, I'm going out to the bar for a drink, or I'm going to the drink. Yeah, the expectation is that you are here, whether it's on the couch, whether it's in the kids' room, whether it's in our bed, that you are here in
So
the
that's
morning. It's I don't think that leaving your home during an argument is okay. Like, and when I say for the night, let me correct that. For the night is
mhm,
okay.
you do realize
Like I
guys
feel
get
like
killed in they sleep and stuff like that too, right?
especially if you think you're doing something with the
dang, what
intern,
y'all arguing over?
you'd be surprised. Maybe she don't want me watching football every day on Sundays.
Oh my God, is she gonna kill you in your sleep because of that?
Hey,
No.
you got some people that have died over stranger things.
So
Sheesh.
the scenario with Herb and the intern, it could be a woman that's saying, "Oh, so she your intern? Did you report her? Did you go to HR or whatever
Mhm.
the case is?" And you're like, "Man, I ain't really sweating that stuff, whatever like that." With I don't even interact with her like that. Then all of a sudden, the woman's popping up there, like, just to come up there to see who she is, or whatever the case. So
Absolutely. I
yeah.
gotta pull up. Did you tell her? Did you tell her your wife is crazy? Did you tell her that? That's the first
No, you're not
question.
gonna tell her that. You're
Did
not
you
gonna tell
tell
her that.
her your wife
Because
is
you want to look
crazy?
good in your workplace, whatever, like your stuff is sound. So you're not
Did
gonna
you
tell a
tell her?
22-year-old that and you're 40 something and your wife is 40 something.
Hmm.
You just you're not you letting it
And,
go.
and then you wonder why.
Listen, I've had a particular person that, and it did not make. It's funny that you guys say that because it kind of pissed me off too, that I was presented as this type of person. I had my children's father tell, well, y'all better get this straight before their mother come up here.
Uh
I, I'm telling y'all, you better figure it out before their mother come. And I'm like, Dad, because when I go up there, they're like tippy toeing around me, and they're like, "Oh, you're so polite," and I'm like, "What? Was I supposed to be a different way?" And they're like, "Oh, because Dad said." And I'm like, "Oh wow." Like, dang, roll me under the bus. Like, no, it's, yeah, things are supposed to be correct, but geez, y'all, you made them seem like I was coming up here to blow the school up, which I will, but I will,
Shaughnessy,
but
uh, see,
oh.
Shaughnessy, I know is always the kind of the even kill peacemaker type that kind of hear both
until
sides, whatever. But you get older, you go through things, and maybe you will blow up a school. I just did
until
see, yeah.
But I mean,
no, but see, that's what always. That's why I always. I guess that's why I always trip, and I guess that's why I've changed to be not to be that even killed person, just like you said, because life happens. Because I tend to feel like when I go in polite and nice and even kill, that's when people start playing with me. So I just nowadays I'm just like, look, don't make me, because I will. So how y'all trying to act? Like immediately, let's just get all of this out the way right now. I expect this from you. You expect this from me. I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna need you to do my part, or else. That's just it. That's just all. But
but that,
for the most part, we're good.
but and this always goes back to the expectations, which is why we talk about the NDA. What you the NDA is essentially it lays the foundation for what's expected, what's going to be tolerated, and what's not going to be tolerated. So
Mm.
it's up to the individuals involved to set that. But I found it what I found ironic was the individual who actually was saying that she was going to do it, particularly at the all the social media backlash that she took on declining the marriage invitation from I can't remember his name right now.
The
His
Jordan
name
guy,
escapes me. From
Michael B.
declining the
Jordan.
marriage invitation, and social media just exploded and said, "This is the problem with black women." And I'm not picking on black women; she just happened to be black.
Mhm.
They wanna tramps around in their 20s where she has a man that can provide the lifestyle she wants. He's notable. He's attractive by many black women's standards, and she told him no. This is when, and I don't know if her father said something about it. I don't know if her mother, Majority Harvey, said something to her. But when I saw it, and like I said, when Star posted it, and I saw it, I said, you know what? This is something we need to discuss because with the advent of social media, people have forgotten the old adage that we were raised under. Dave and myself were raised under. What goes
Well,
on in
that's
this
the
house?
men's. That is Mike. I now know who you're talking about. Michael V. Jordan and Lori Harvey.
Yes, yes.
She had, but I feel like she has shown herself and she has shown who she was. So if I'm showing you who I am and I am this fluid person and I date around and I do this and I do that, why will I put myself out there in such a way and then expect different?
Yeah, I don't get that considering her history. Why he
Right.
got all caught up in there? Didn't she date like P Diddy and whatever his name is now? Whatever.
Future,
Yeah. So
Future, his
yeah.
son,
when you
Trey Songs,
yeah
like, and
when you got money like he got, that hey, you can find a somebody
Nice,
that
wholesome
wholesome.
young
Hold on.
lady.
But Dave, you said it earlier, Dave. He may have been sprung.
True.
And if that's the
True.
case, then he found somebody who he thought, and we have to understand, it's not what anybody else says, it's what the individual thinks.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
He found somebody who he thought he could build that with. He wasn't
And I feel
concerned
sorry
about,
for that man.
but it happens. And it happens far more often than we are willing to acknowledge. Because we always talk about women getting caught up for the Playboy. We always talk about women, attracting or dealing with the dog or whatever the case is with men that just do them dirty. But we never talk about the men who fall for the women that are out here living that lifestyle. We don't.
Yeah, and that's the man that you end up having a double, triple homicide type shit, whatever.
Yep.
In situations like that. Let me read what Marcia says. She said, I agree with David. Sometimes it's best that either the woman or man leaving due to a heated agreement. It's better for either party to leave to prevent any domestic mishaps to occur.
For the whole entire night, not for a couple of hours. I get it. Go for a ride. Go for a ride. Go up the street.
Listen,
go for a walk.
listen, Shaughnessy. If I gotta
I
go to
am
work, if I
one.
gotta go to work or whatever the case is, I'm going somewhere to lay my ass down. I'm not getting up at 1, 2 o'clock
In the
then
house.
coming back
In the
to
house.
reestablish.
In the
No,
house.
because I can't do that because you're cleaning, now you're doing shit, throwing stuff around, and you're talking and you're saying little stuff.
See,
And
you
I'm not
don't.
saying you, but I'm
That's the
just
wrong
saying.
person. That's the wrong person.
But
Oh my gosh.
that's like that.
But how
There are
many
people like that.
arguments has that happened before that could have told you or should have told you that this ain't the one for me or this ain't the thing for me? No, and I'm being completely honest. Like, what? I got to do all of that. No, if I feel
Sometimes
like
the
I have
stuff
to,
sometimes stuff come out later, years
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Years later, you're like, where the
Some
hell did
latent
this come
issue.
from?
Yeah. Some latent issue that she's never dealt with that all of a sudden a set of circumstances align and boom, she flips. And you say, this is the first time I've ever heard of this. You've never discussed this with me before. You've never even mentioned it.
y'all, I promise y'all, the first time I have a argument, altercation, or any type of something, and this person decides that they want to, I don't know, break a lamp, throw something into the wall, it's a wrap. I'm done with it. I promise you, I'm done with it.
Wait a minute. You're not even gonna go to a hotel for a night. You just done?
No, I'm done. No, because you're showing me characteristics of somebody that can be violent, somebody that can lead to a domestic issue, and I'm not for it. I'm not for it, and I'm not with it.
Yeah,
I'm never ever gonna be uncomfortable in my place of peace.
I
Absolutely
agree.
not.
That's why the NDA is there. It governs the behavior. So if an individual does something and you react, they already know what was coming. It's not a surprise.
No, that's wild.
It happens.
We got to break down this NDA, but I got to go have a cigarette break. So y'all carry on with this conversation.
A cigarette break? You don't smoke no cigarettes.
I'm joking.
But I'm serious. I always tell people, no matter who I deal with, whether we're in a consensual relationship or we're dating or whatever the case is, that's our business.
Right.
It does not need to hit social media. I don't want it to hit social media. And it's not going to hit social media. Because I don't put my Facebook account, at least this one, I have another one, is at least 10 years old. You will not find
I have one back from 2006 or 7.
Yeah.
This one is from 2006 and 7.
You will not find a reference of me dating or dealing with a female. You just won't.
So, like for me, I have my kid's father Um, you could dig through and find my kid's father. I'm pretty sure you
Yeah,
can find like old tags and stuff like that.
right,
But I don't want to make it seem like, oh, there's been many in between, but ain't everybody ain't up there. That's probably all you're going to see because again, my
right,
grandfather is up there, my grandparents are up there,
right.
my father is up there. So everybody is not going to be tagged in, or even if they are, they're not going to be out there by themselves for identification. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Now,
it's not gonna be, oh, me and this person in tag. Now you may see them comment on something, you may see them like something, but they're not commenting like, yeah, my girlfriend, my love, or nothing like that. You would never know or be able to identify them from anybody else.
yeah, and that's why I said once you start having kids, doesn't matter. Well, not let's take married people. Let's put them aside for this particular point.
Mm.
Once individuals start procreating and they're not married, that NDA is essentially done because
Why is that? So what does the NDA say that makes that?
because you didn't get pregnant by yourself. He's gonna pop if he's a responsible father. He's gonna pop up with a kid. Somebody's gonna want to know. Well, who's the mother?
Not necessarily. So I've seen people on social media where they don't make any references to their kid's father or their I know no, actually I know this girl that I was very, very cool with. I had never seen a picture of her kid's father. I had never like she had mentioned his name like in talking about him like, oh yeah, he's gonna pick such and such up today. And then after that, da da da, you want to go to happy hour or something like that. It was about 2 or 3 years later that I done seen this man on my timeline, and he had just had so happened to post the same baby, and I just was like, oh, they they got the same child, but they don't have any references on their pages of each other.
No,
They
and I
they
understand
have
that.
to.
My point, yeah, my point is this: you knew she was sexually active with somebody. You didn't know who, but you knew she got pregnant. So you knew she had a kid. So you knew she was out there dealing with somebody. So
Mm.
when I say when I say the pregnancy kind of destroys the NDA, that's what I'm talking about. It's no longer who she. It's no longer is she messing with somebody.
Oh,
The
okay.
question is who is she messing with?
Mm.
Because, like I said, you can only hide the pregnancy for so long. After that, people are like, oh, yo, I thought she was crying. I didn't know she was out here giving it up like that. And she may not be to everyone, but she is to someone. This is why it was always a shock when the church girl ended up pregnant and she wasn't married, because the church girls are supposed to be the wholesome girls. That
Mm.
was the NDA that the Catholic school girls had signed. Look, we ain't telling nobody about this, okay? This is why the I don't do this with everybody becomes a famous line that a lot of women say. That's the unwritten NDA. If we do this, you better not tell anybody. If I find out, I ain't gonna never speak to you again. So this is old, but
Mm.
it's just coming up now because of social media, one, and because two, people want to protect their reputation, particularly the women, especially when you get all the red pill talk about body counts, 304s, which for people, if you don't order 304, it's a whole. It comes from 403 on the calculator. If you turn it inverted, that's what it spells out. But anyway,
Y'all
so
know
that's
what I? Oh my gosh! I thought you know where the source I got that from. I thought it was
Even
cause,
I'm
and
slow. I figured that out.
I I never took the time to figure it out. I thought it was on the phone for some reason.
it's a
I
calculator.
thought it was like the numbers on the phone.
No, it's a calculator.
I really thought that's what it was.
But I mean, this is where all this stuff comes from. I think it may not be applicable to you, honestly, because you're in a different generation, and the kids tend to be a little bit more sexually advanced than David and were in our age. But there were people out here who were doing things that other people were. You did what? With who? Oh, I'm not telling. Oh, come on, you gotta tell. See, that ain't right. And that's when you get into it. This is why a lot of people they kept their freak under covers. Because prom wasn't the first time that a lot of people lost their virginity. You had a lot of people that lost their virginity way before prom. They just didn't talk about it.
Oh, and I know one thing. She didn't come on tonight, whatever, but something Anita has said, like it was ancient, whatever. I don't recall back in our days we was talking about body counts. She was like I can't believe that started over again. We wasn't talking about body counts back. I'm like, this that wasn't the lingo to be back in the days, and maybe because I didn't have too many people on my count that I didn't talk about. But I'm like, that is not no old term.
I
I
can't.
don't. So what do
He
y'all
tried to put
feel?
it out like that.
What are y'all opinions about body counts? What do y'all think about those?
It's gonna come out in the wash. It's
Mm,
impossible. Let me put it to you like this: if you are experiencing something, doesn't matter what it is hard to hide that. Very hard.
you said if you are
Especially
experienced.
yes. Take something you are experienced at. Something you've done a dozen
But
times.
see,
Doesn't
that's
matter.
not. I don't think that's a fair assessment because you could be with a particular person over a particular amount of time, and that person could have actually built up all of your experience.
This is true.
Bottom line, women shame men um, if they're less experienced, and men nurture and culture women that that's not on that level. They're precious to them, and they teaching them. But women shame men if they don't have that
See,
much
to
experience.
so it's not about the
Unfortunately,
count; it's about the experience.
well,
Yes.
the count and experience, and if you're not as experienced, and if you're not at that level, men get shamed.
Yeah.
Men get shamed for that. But men don't shame women. They look at it as so. See, to me, a woman like, damn, like he's really raw. He really has that. Oh my god, like I can, we can do things. I could teach him. I could be. That's the element of teaching someone should be like, oh man, like that should be the ultimate prize. But so
But
men, they
you could
worship that. I
you could
know
be
you probably
one
think about the
way.
pleasure and all that stuff.
No, not even. I'm thinking you could be one way for someone else and have to be retaught to do something with somebody else because
Hmm.
everybody is not the same. So you may have experience doing something in a certain way, and then for me, it may not work that way. So there's still an opportunity to learn or to be
Yeah,
taught.
that's true.
There
But
there
if
is,
experience,
but
so I,
go ahead, Sons.
I typically I've never been or would never ever ask anybody, oh, what's your body count? No, but I do want to know if I work at this hospital. I work at this hospital. I frequent this restaurant, and I go to these places. Am I gonna run into anybody? Please just let me know. And if it's gonna be a lot to them, this is not for me.
I can't answer that question. I'll put it to you like this.
That's my only concern. If you had your party days in Miami, then it's not relevant because we're not in Miami. I ain't gonna run into none of them.
And this leads me back to what I was talking about with the NDAs.
Oh my gosh.
The I'll put it to you like this: the women that I have dealt with, unless we dated, which is pretty much a public knowledge,
Hmm.
you're not gonna know. You can sit beside her and you wouldn't know.
No, but I'm saying if I shall come to this place or this place with you, and it's like, yeah, so about I don't know, a random name about Richard. So yeah, he's kind of a pass around. She done had him, we done had him, girl. We all done had him. Might as well take a seat at the table. I don't need none of those.
But that's precisely my point. That's precisely why the NDA becomes so important. Is if you
No,
have the
that's just
same
making
individual,
it better way for you to sneak. It's not even about that.
it's not a. But see, you keep conflating sneaking with minding your own business, and it's not sneaking. If let's look at it like this. Let's take a man who's average height, earns well, he's well spoken, but he's
For the streets.
desirable. No, but he's desirable by a lot of women, and he deals with those women.
You're for the streets.
But how are you gonna know it unless they tell you?
I'm I don't want somebody that's for the streets.
How are you going to know when that information is not public?
If you're for the streets, it will be.
How are you gonna find out?
The streets talk.
How do the
NDAs or
streets
not.
how do the streets talk when that information is not out there? Trust me, I'm telling you from firsthand experience. The streets don't talk unless you put your information out there in the streets.
Females talk.
You're not listening. You're speaking with feelings. I'm telling you the real. Females don't talk the way you think they all do. You know why? Because some of them want to get back out there and marry and have families.
True. True.
And
I
I
can
say
see
and I
that.
say that because
But that
there are
so that would mean you would have to have two parties that are for the streets.
this is why the NDA must be ironclad between the two individuals. There are women that I have dealt with that are married and have kids. I'm not saying at the time that we were involved, they were married and had
Yeah, go
kids.
ahead, backtrack. Go ahead, backpedal.
I'm not saying I haven't slept with married women. Yeah, I've slept with married women. I got shit to hide. But
Did
why
you
do you think I
know?
could? Huh?
Did you know?
Yes. But why do you think I could talk about these things in this particular manner?
So, all right, wait. Pause. Let's run this back. What?
Her mind blown now, Dave.
No, it's not. What makes what goes through the mind? Why do you say, okay, I'm gonna hit this married woman? And please don't give me I'm not the one that's married.
Hold on, hold
Convenience.
on, hold on, hold on. For the same reason I would hit a woman that ain't married.
you ain't you ain't ish. Okay.
Who? Wait a minute.
What?
When did I ever say I was?
So why you can't why you can't be like, oh yeah, that's not for me.
Because it was.
It wasn't, and she married.
Says who?
Because he knows that she has a husband, so her availability to move around, she doesn't have that. She doesn't have that availability, so it might be the perfect setup.
Oh, so it's less problematic.
The NDA. She ain't saying a goddamn thing.
And that would be the
Oh, you
reason
dirty
why,
dog.
and that would be the reason why some guys deal with women and they kind of figure like, oh, they got younger kids. She doesn't have family support. I don't have to worry about her
Oh,
coming through. So I made that comment. Yeah,
predatorial.
yeah. I made that comment to somebody who said, well, well, some guys still do it. But then I said, he's like, that's why some guys still operate like that. It was a post I had made, and I said, "Yeah, you still have the mothers that will leave toddlers in the house to go chase after a man, but in
Mhm.
most cases, when a woman is solid, she's not leaving her kids,
Nope.
so he don't have to worry about her coming through if he's entertaining someone else." Uh, it's a lot to it. We
This,
all
I
feel it's a
keep
lot.
telling you, man, this is diabolical, man.
Yikes.
Let's
I
look at it like
do.
this. And this
I
is
get it. I get it. I definitely understand what you guys are saying. It makes sense. I'm just thinking, I think morality
Yeah,
wise,
throw that Bible
I
stuff
just,
out the window. We
no,
don't throw the Bible.
it's not even about the
Yeah,
Bible. It's about karma.
yeah.
That lady can come kill me. She has the right to do it at this point.
but this is what we're trying to get across to you. She's not, because at the end of the day, she's only looking for sex. She's not looking for a commitment. There's a movie. Matter of fact, I'm so glad this came up. There's a movie with George Clooney in it called Up in the Air. Watch that movie. I think it's a cool movie. It's kind of melancholy at the end, but watch the movie and watch what happens at the end of the movie, because it ties into what we're talking about now.
Mm, mm, mm.
David mentioned about his boy being sprung. Same thing happens with Clooney. He let somebody get in his head talking about the lifestyle that he had been enjoying for years. Messed up his whole game. But watch that movie. Let me know what you think. But what people have to realize is this: this is not new. This type of stuff has been going on for
Since the Bible.
generations. Yeah. The only thing about it is the only people that used to be able to do it were the well to do. Now we have a world that allows for people to travel thousands of miles in half a day. So if you're on a business trip and you fly to Hong Kong, you go down to Singapore and you come back stateside and you do that in 2 or 3 weeks, who's to say you haven't had your fun, male or female, in a
Now,
committed
something about
relationship?
something about a married man just don't sit well with me. I guess it's
But you're not going to
no.
know. How are you going to know this man's married? You've never met him before. He takes off his wedding ring. He's just an ordinary, everyday 60 to 70, 80-hour man that
Oh, I
works.
would know. I would
How?
know.
How would you know?
Cause I
This is a
take
man
the
you just
time to
met.
tap in. Cause I take the time to tap in. Like I would know. Just
He's
like
gonna
you
pass you
said,
by then. He's
pattern.
not gonna he's not gonna waste his time.
Right. And that's absolutely fine. I hope so. I hope that would
But
just
but
be
we're talking about
appearance.
people, but we're speaking about people who are keep this in mind. We're talking about people who are willing and they're consensually doing this. So you have some men that will say, hey, look, I'm married. I'm just down here to splash and dash, and I'm gone. This is why I want you to watch the movie, because it ties in so beautifully with this particular discussion. Everything that we've talked about, it's in that movie. Except
Hmm.
there's a role reversal, and I'm not going to tell you exactly how the role reversal is, but there's a role reversal. I think it's a cool, like I said, I think it's a cool movie. But I
It's
always
giving
recommend
crimes
movies.
of passion.
Say it again.
It's giving crime of passion.
Hmm.
Hey, I'm saying watch the movie. It's called Up in the Air with George Clooney. He's the lead actor, and the actors are, I know I was mispronounced her last name, is Vera Farmiga. I think it's, like I said, I think it's a cool movie. The movie's like 12, 13 years old, I think, but it's cool as hell. It's cool as hell, and there's so many tidbits that people can take from that movie. And like I said, it really ties in beautifully to what we're discussing here. So
Y'all need
watch
to be
that
safe
movie.
out here with these married women.
Say it again.
I said, y'all just be safe out here with these married women.
It ain't the marriage. It ain't the it. But see, this is the thing that people don't quite grasp. They're thinking that the husband is going to fly off the hook
Mm.
when sometimes it's the woman who does things. The only reason we don't hear about it is because society will let women get away with it.
No, crimes of passion. I hear women getting off for crimes of passion more often. I've never actually. I think I've only heard it once, a male getting off of
That's what I mean.
crime of passion.
They,
But
they allow women to get away with it, but men don't.
no, but what I'm saying is men. Oh yeah, you're saying men don't typically get
Right,
away with that.
right.
Yeah.
Case in point, Tiger Woods got beat with a golf club because he's out there having an affair. Let that situation have been reversed. They'd have put Tiger Woods' ass up underneath the jail cell. But see, when we talk about this stuff, a lot of people will try and fight
But
it.
if he would have attacked the man versus the women, it would definitely go down as a crime of passion. They had somebody here in Hampton Roads not too long ago that beat the guy up with a weight or something like that, and he got 5 years in jail. They
But that's
noticed
but that's but
charged
that's
him
my
with a
point.
crime of passion.
Tiger Woods' wife didn't attack the woman. She attacked Tiger Woods.
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I said. Y'all be safe out here messing with these married women. Because if the men go off, 9 times out of 10, I know this one person in particular that will always say, that always says, don't let me ever walk in on my wife doing something. Because apparently it was an intruder, apparently it was a robber, and apparently she was getting raped. So I had to kill him.
Matter of fact, and for those of you who don't know about this story, you can actually research it. It's verified as true. I'm not going to mention the player's name because he's no longer living.
Mhm.
But in the Biggie Smalls song, I Got a Story to Tell, that is
Mhm.
a true story. For those of you
Mm.
who don't know, and if you don't, and if you've never heard the song, go listen to it. But it's an actual song. It actually took
It's a
place.
true story.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And the person, like I said, I had the pleasure, gosh, of actually meeting this individual when I was doing security at the casino. He came through. Cool cat. Unfortunately, and the son was playing basketball at Niger University. A cool cat. Unfortunately, he's like I said, he's no longer with us. But the story is true, and the reason why I'm saying this is because it's not always the man who acts out in a violent rage. Sometimes it's the woman, and she doesn't necessarily take it out on the woman. She'll take it out on the husband. That's why I mentioned the Tiger Woods situation because, and and maybe it's the fame. I don't know, but
Mhm.
Tiger had his fair share of failed marriages, mainly because people are saying he's a sex addict. I don't know if he is. Personally, I don't care because Lindsey Vaughn, I believe that's her name, the U.S. Olympic skier, he was married
Mhm.
to for a short time. Um,
Oh.
I can't remember who's married. Was she the one that beat him with the golf club? I can't remember, but there was a couple, and one of them, she caught wind of his affair. She took a golf club to him,
Mhm.
did him bad. So
Oh.
NDAs are important. They're vital to your health.
So when you say NDAs for common folk, do you think these things are really happening?
I would hope so. I can't say they are. I can say I hope that they do because, like Shaughnessy is alluding to, it will cut down on on a lot of the domestic violence cases that we hear about. Now, it may not lessen the infidelity rate or the divorce rate due to infidelity, which I think, you know, kind of bleeds into this. But the thing you're looking to do, or the thing that can be accomplished, is that the whole notion of women being um, more sexually active than past generations gets minimized. And what I mean by that is this: it's not out there in the streets. It's not out there for everybody's consumption. So you don't know if the female that you're looking at, she's attractive. You don't know if she was just out last night giving it up to some random guy. And it's more to protect people's integrity than it is to try and keep people from finding out stuff. Because the last thing a man wants to find out is that his wife has been ran through by the basketball team. And the only way that stuff becomes public knowledge is if people don't learn how to keep their mouth shut. I'm a proponent of keeping my business my business. I'm a proponent of other people keeping their business their business. This is why I don't ask people, are you dating anybody? Unless I'm interested in it. If I'm interested, then yes, I'm going to ask because I don't want to step on anybody's toes. But as short of that, I don't care if you're married. I don't care if you're dating anybody.
What?
It's not my
Why?
business.
So when you say step on somebody's toes, if it's a
You
woman
stepping
you
on that man's foot.
so if
You talk
somebody
about
so if you're interested in someone and she's still dating someone that they're just dating, you're gonna back off if you really
yeah,
want her, or you just
yeah.
gonna
No,
the
I'm
cream
passing by.
gonna rise to the top.
No, I'm gonna pass it by.
Oh, okay.
There ain't no, there's I don't and I don't want people to think that I'm not the kind of guy that won't quote unquote work to get a woman. Because there's some things at my age, there's some things that I'm like, all right, you know what? It's cool. I'm going about my business. I
Have the least resistance.
yeah, I've dated attractive women. I've dated attractive women. I'm not sex starved. I'm sorry. If it comes across as me being arrogant, me being brass, then so be it. But I'm not out there chasing women for that. I want somebody who I can actually do things with, who I can go places with. I want somebody who I can actually sit beside, and I ain't gotta have sex with her.
Mm.
I know that's a lost concept on some women because they're thinking every guy, every time he gets with a female, he's got it better. Now, if I only see you once a month, well, yes, I gotta make the most of the time that we have. But if I see you consistently, no, come on over. I'll make something to eat. We can watch a movie. You're going about your way once we're done. I'll go sleep or whatever the case is. And I think this is the one thing that people don't realize, at least about me. The older I grow, not become, but grow, the more I want a situation that doesn't rock my boat.
What?
He won't peace, Shaughnessy. Peace.
So, and there are certain markers that I look at on a woman that lets me know that she's going to rock my boat. One of those things is wearing a hair color that isn't hers. That's a red flag for me. People
What?
laugh. Want me tell you why? Generally speaking,
What you talking about? Like subtle, like if a
I'm
woman
not
has
talking
like
about highlights. I'm talking
highlights,
about somebody that dyes their hair a color that's one,
like
not hers. It's not
purple or
naturally
pink.
hers. Yes,
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
that denotes something going on internal because an average, normal, mentally stable person isn't doing that. They're not putting that nonsense in their hair. Now they might go get some highlights. They might get it colored, but they ain't going. They not looking like a box of Crayola crayons. Matter of fact, I'll say this. There's a female on my TikTok. She's blonde, or Caucasian female. She's got to be in the mid 40s, but she has purple hair from maybe a third of the way down. And she keeps making all these TikToks about people asking, why don't she just dye her hair back? And her reply is, if you don't like it, don't mess with me. But then she's complaining about she can't find decent dates. Wonder why? That's a sign that something's not right with you.
I mean, I feel like there's somebody for everybody. I also feel now I definitely understand what you're saying about the colorful hair. Um, but one of the I have a trauma doctor that her hair is literally pink and teal. It's some other kind of it's like a the lady looked like a mermaid.
Let me ask you
But
this
she's
question.
a highly skilled
Oh no,
trauma
I'm not.
surgeon.
Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not capable of functioning. They're very capable of functioning, but they're not the type of people that you probably want to be in a sexual or long-term relationship with. Is this woman
Mm,
married?
she is
I'd like to meet her husband.
both they're both doctors.
Both a little eccentric.
Yeah, I think yeah, he has gauges. They both
Oh, there you go then.
gauges
Like,
and tatted. Yep.
yeah. So, like you said, there's somebody for everybody. They found something and made it work. But she can't do that with everybody. And it's not because she's a doctor, it's because she's wired differently. And I don't want people to think that I'm saying that somebody who colors their hair that color has a mental issue. For me, that just doesn't work. I want plain.
Right. I got you.
I want something that I can look at and say, okay, you know what? She's all right. Because the first thing I see is like, oh, what in the world made you color your hair that goddamn color? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Then
I
out comes the
definitely
100
understand.
questions. And I'm starting with the trauma.
100 questions.
Mm.
Because we got to get to the bottom of this. We got to know what make you tick. Because something ain't right. That I'm just different. But that's
I'm
just
about
me.
to formulate 100 questions.
Well, yeah, I might as well do a collab, whatever. 100 questions for men, 100 questions for women.
No, mine is gonna be after the fact though.
Oh,
So
the time is now. Don't think about it. Like I said
a
at
hundred
the beginning of the
questions, a
show,
100 weeks
make it
later.
happen. Make it happen. If it's in your heart and it's in your passion, make it happen.
Let me answer this question that Marcia asked. She says, I'm an older woman who has gray hair. Some men feel that my gray hair makes me look older, but I refuse to color it. So what's wrong with these men? In a word, nothing. They don't want to date somebody that appears to them to be older. Now, that doesn't mean you have to color your hair, but what that does mean is you have to find someone who's going to accept you with your hair.
I thought that was the end thing. I thought that was the thing. Like
Right. People coloring their hair. I
great,
love
like
them some
younger
salt and
women with
pepper.
gray hair.
So, well, I understand her position.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to feel like she has to change herself, whether that's
Right.
physically or whatever the case is, and that's cool. But that doesn't necessarily mean that there's, excuse me,
I
something wrong with
wonder
the
if these
men.
men are in her age range though, because I mean, aren't
Yeah.
we all going gray at this point?
Yeah.
I will say this: I have very few gray hairs. Most
But
of
you
the
don't
gray
got
hairs
no damn hair. Grow some hair. You had gray hair. Nice try, buddy. Nice try.
I have very few gray hairs. Most of them are in my beard. I actually do have some hair. It's just very short. But what I found is that a lot of women when they get gray hair, it doesn't age them per se. It just gives them the appearance that they're older. Because I've seen some younger women with gray hair, and I was like, oh wow. But they had it dyed so it was silver and it looked gray. I've seen some pull it off. And to them I tip my hat to.
But it's confidence. Because
Bingo.
even when people like, oh, you should dye yourself. Why the frick you think I'm gonna sit here and dye my stuff, whatever? I'm 52 years old. It is what it is. It can't beat Father Time. It's
Right.
great. So if I decide to have a beard, it's gonna be great. Whether I change it, cut all the stuff, and have a goatee, it's gonna be great. That's the way it is, whatever. And I've been wearing my hair baldy look for the longest. So, but people who I feel like they gotta load up with the dye and have stuff jet black and your ass damn near 60, you're a
Yeah.
fraud. You're a fraud.
Yo, my grandfather
You're a
is like,
fraud.
my grandfather's 75. He still be dyeing his beard. And I
Yeah.
don't
I
know
mean,
why.
embrace.
But the thing about it is his eyebrows be turning gray too, and he don't dye his eyebrows. So I don't know what it's for. He's been doing it for forever.
Yeah. My
But he's
grandfather
like,
used to be like that. He used to be
but
like that.
he's also dedicated to his cat daddy look because he always wear a leather fedora and a scarf. So it's just like, which one do you want to be? Like, who do you want to be?
That's funny. But hey, as like Dave said, it's confidence. I mean, at a certain point in time, one has to stop fighting nature. So when it's funny. I remember one time I was up at the basketball court and I'm playing music and I'm out there shooting, just stretching, running around. Young bucks come up about 17. They said, "What's the music for? Motivation?" I said, "No." I said, "The music's just for music." I said, I can't get out here and do what you do at your age." I said, "I must want to pull a muscle." I said, "So that's what it is." I said, "The music is not motivation. I just like to listen to music, but I got to stretch, so I want something to occupy my time." Um, and people they refuse to embrace. I shouldn't even say refuse to embrace. People seem to have a difficult time acknowledging getting older. They want to run from it, they want to hide from it. Especially you see a lot of women talk about 35 is the new 25 and all of this. I'm just thinking, why? Do you
'Cause
really want
I'm
to go
not
back?
turning older than 30 until I get to 35. And then when
eh,
I
eh,
turn 35, I'm going to be 35 until I'm 40.
your body's already telling you, hey, look, it ain't that type of party.
I know, because I ain't never needed as much Tums as I ever needed in life. Heartburn is real. It just- it is.
Yeah. You simply put, you got to find somebody who doesn't mind a woman with gray hair. I mean, that's all that
Yeah.
is. I mean, I'm speaking to myself because she says I have to admit it personally. I love my gray hair. After all, I'm a lady who's 70, and regardless of what anyone says, I love my gray hair. You're supposed to.
Yeah, absolutely. And then at 70, what color your hair supposed to be? Other than
See,
gray.
it's not about the gray hair for these people who sweating the gray hair. It's the damn wrinkles, the skin. That's the key. If your skin is still on on par, or you taking care of yourself and you don't look old, you can have whatever color hair you want, but you still look young in the face. I think that's the key because there's people who shit they
But
got
if
jet
I'm
black hair.
dating, go ahead.
They may have jet black hair, but in their face they look old as hell.
Yeah.
It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose, whatever. So don't let that be your measuring stick. Oh, got a bunch of gray hair, but you got your hair jet black, but you look old as hell in the face.
Yeah, a lot of that comes down to not having good dietary habits, especially if you grew up eating the traditional African American fare. So foods that are high in fat, high in LDL, I think is, correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm going to say LDL is the bad cholesterol, correct?
Mm, sure.
I think.
LDL, HDL, one of them. I don't know.
Okay,
Don't give
anyway.
me the line.
Okay. Eating the traditional black fare, a lot of that stuff clogs your internal workings. So if you don't work out, you have a bad diet, you were a smoker at one time, or a heavy drinker or a moderate drinker, all of that stuff ages you. All of that stuff has an effect on whether your skin is going to maintain a youthful appearance, moisturizer, all of those type of things. And I think that's why, because I'm when I tell people my age at work, a lot of people look at me and they're like, "Really?" I say, "Yes," but I said, "But there's also some other things that I've never had to deal with in life. I don't have any kids. I've never been married. For a lot of men, marriage is a stressor. For a lot of men who have kids with a woman who is a cooperative, that's a stressor. I I don't know if I sometimes I say I'm blessed because I've never had to deal with those type of things. But some people say children is a blessing. I'm not going to stand in the way of anybody who says that. I'll take you at your word. I will say this for myself. I had the opportunity to be a father, but due to the circumstances then, I thought the best course of action was to terminate that pregnancy. So that's what I had the mother do. Because I knew at a certain point in time, I was going to end up in jail. Because the two children she already had, the father was racist. I don't play that shit. Not with mine. I'm off with your head. I'm not asking no questions. I catch wind of some shit. Yeah, I'm at the front door. And if you ain't coming out, I'm coming in. I'm kind of wired like that. So, but I said that story just to say, hey, look, everybody has their own course they're going to plot in life. And we talked about this at the top of the show, but make sure you're taking care of yourself physically. Because, matter of fact, Martha Stewart, bless her soul, Martha Stewart did a promo for a coffee company, and all she wore was an apron. And I tell you, I couldn't tell you if that woman was 55 or she's like 70 something. I was just like, oh wow. I was like, okay, go ahead with your badass. They called it a thirst trap picture. I was like, hey, look, she had a lot of men thinking about, okay, Martha.
I know what you're talking about too.
Have you seen the picture?
Mm-hmm.
She looked phenomenal. I was like, oh, whoa, that's a must. I had to go do some research because I thought the picture was shot. And when I found out it was real and she posed for it, and she was nervous, so she said she actually had to practice a couple of days beforehand. But I was just like, oh, Martha's hanging in there. Martha's looking good for age. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow. So, and I always say, like, we had two talking points, but we're not gonna worry about the one because some of these conversations lead to other conversations, and just this non-disclosure for non-exclusive relationships. It's a lot. We always say it's a lot to everything. So many variables. It's so many situations that can happen. And even from that conversation, it led to, hey, talking about aging, gray hair, and all that stuff. So conversations, one conversations lead to another conversation, and that's when you know you're doing something right. When it expands, when it doesn't expand, that's when it's like, oh God, like, and that's even when you think about phone conversations when we talked about. if your conversation that is not expanding and is always resorted to texting and stuff like that, that means probably, I hate to say it. I mean, no, I I may be wrong for saying this because some people it depends on their schedule, but if a person doesn't desire to hear your voice often, they might they might not be just into you like that. Based on conversation.
I agree.
Hmm.
Based on conversation. And I don't want to slight any because it depends, it depends on people's schedules and stuff like that, but you will desire or want to, but sometimes, you do have women say, I don't I don't like talking. I want to text. So it depends on the individual also. Like there's no manual for any of this. So this dating game stuff and all that, it's no manual. Um, it's kind of individualized, like people preferences, what they like, or whatever the case is. You just have to kind of figure it out. But you have to start off with good communication and conversation. And I think essentially, especially someone you don't know, if it's somebody you already know
Yeah.
and you're texting and all stuff like that, that's different. But when you're getting to know someone and you don't desire to talk to them or hear their voice, eh, I don't know about that one. Because people with experience with each other, they can survive the phone conversations because they kind of know what each other is made out of,
Hmm.
or what's their makeup. But when you're just getting to know someone and it's just texting, that's something you got to question.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to read personalities through text messages.
Indeed.
So we're probably we're gonna table the second talking point, and that was just like things that we went through during the pandemic, and we'll probably bring that back up. But I think a lot of stuff was covered in this first talking point about non-disclosure and exclusive relationships. So we're gonna get ready to close it out with closing comments. So who would like to go first? Shaughnessy, ladies first.
Stop messing with married people. They go both ways, men and women. That's crazy. That's wild. And you're setting yourself up to get killed by
Mm,
men or women. I really think that's the most unsafe thing to do in the world, other than karma. I'm really always fearful for when people like are involved or having an affair with a married person.
okay. We gotta honor your closing comment on that.
Well, I guess that means I can't mess with my sneaky link anymore. So you want to tell her, or do I have to tell her?
I'll tell her.
Okay, I'll give you a phone number.
Husband, sis.
I'm gonna put this out there. Hey, look, I'm not against consenting adults doing whatever it is that you do. Good, bad, or indifferent, so long as it's not illegal. Morality, have at it. But I will tell you, make sure you keep your business in house. I don't care who you do it with. I don't care what you do. Keep it in house. You want to have your fun. You don't want to be outed. Keep it in house. All right. And as always, growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. Godspeed. See you next time.
All right. For me, again, all of this is based on each individual. The one thing for sure, sort of piggybacking what Herb said, and I always say, you got to know your personnel. Sometimes you got to know what to feed someone or what could get out. but best believe the less people know, the more power you have. The more you share, the less power you have. So just be mindful of how you put information out there to the public, because the same people that you think should be your cheerleaders is the main people that's really probably taking the information you putting out there and talking shit about it and all that stuff. So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of what you're putting out to the universe, because it could come back and bite you in the ass. And everybody that sit around and clap, they're not really clapping for you. You have to understand that. And it's a shame in this day and age that we have to think like that, but it's real. And that's family, close friends, whoever. You just don't know. Keep people guessing. I guess that's my closing comment. Keep people guessing and wondering, because if that's the case, you got, as in the movie Juice, you got the juice.
Mhm.
You got the juice. If you got people guessing and they wondering, you got it. Everything is in your hand. So you always want to hold everything in your hands, and you don't want to relinquish that. So with that said, we out. Thanks for the people who chimed in, or the people that were silently watching. It's all good, but take some of this information with you, and we can be on to the next one. We'll see you next time. Everybody enjoy the rest of your week, and please be mindful. People are getting sick. So wear your mask, do all that stuff, because it's that season again, and we don't want to lose people that we shouldn't. We don't want to lose anybody, but we don't want to lose folks that, like, unexpectedly, because of a common cold that led to pneumonia and all of that stuff. But that's the season we're in. So
Yes,
just be
yes,
mindful of
yes.
that, and be mindful, because we're, like Shaughnessy mentioned, it's the holiday season, gatherings getting close, everybody coming together. This is a joyous time, but yet and still, you still have to protect yourself during these times. So this is
Mhm.
the world we live in right now. So
And if you
everybody be
feel
mindful of that.
different, go get yourself checked out. Because guess who got pneumonia?
You said, guess who got it?
Yeah, me.
You got it now?
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh wow.
Yes, yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, you in our prayers and thoughts, and we know you're gonna pull through whatever. Be safe,
Yes,
whatever.
yes.
Love you,
I
and
sure
get
will.
well.
Mm,
Definitely
indeed.
get well.
Yes, yes. I sure will.
And keep us posted. If
Yeah.
you need anything, let us know.
No, I am. Look, don't feel bad. I'm up. I'm
No, I'm
good.
not trying for that, but
Um,
that's just how we are.
yeah. It
Yeah.
it happens. It's moving through. It's working through. I should be back right by next week.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
play with.
But thank you guys, and I'll
Thank
see y'all
you.
next week. Next
Uh,
Monday,
all
right?
right.
Yep.
Thank
Yeah.
you for everything you bring, and we'll see you next. We'll see you all next week, and everybody continue to participate in the counselor's corner, because it gets wild up in there. All right. We
Right.
out, good people. Everybody be safe.
All right. Good night.
All right. Good night.